Thanks, Prem. There are a few other people I want to really acknowledge right in the beginning. There is Amit Trivedi moving around somewhere here. Amit ji, he's there. So I will talk about Amit when I'm talking about my presentation. But one of the first things which I want to leave you with the message is, in any business, just like in any sport, you need a coach. And Amit is our coach. So he's been our coach right from day zero when we started Freedom. And we owe a lot to him. And they always say when you start anything important like a presentation, acknowledge your coach. In this room, there are a lot of very important and successful advisors and distributors who are sitting. They are an institution in themselves. So my respect to them. I think you don't need to really listen from me because I've learned a lot from you. But still, I'll try and do justice to what I'm trying to do. Usually they say post-lunch sessions are the most toughest one. I say the other way around. It's the easiest one. Because most of the time, all the listeners are sleeping. So it doesn't matter. I didn't have lunch, you had lunch. So you try and be awake. I will not make very hard efforts to keep you awake. You know, that's not my job to keep you awake. I will not. Is this working? Yeah. So I like moving when I do my presentations. Also, I've been a rule breaker right from the beginning. Whenever I was in my school or college, I used to sit at the back benches. You know, I think all the geniuses sit there. All the rule breakers are the geniuses. Those people who follow rule usually sit in the front. Sorry, this is my view, not the right view. So I've been a rule breaker myself. So I'll take liberty from Prem that though he gave me a very specific topic, that talk about goals and plans and all those things. In my typical habit, I'll break the rule. I will talk about plans and goals, but the context will be slightly different because I thought that context is relevant. I hope you give me that permission to do it. Then just like in mutual funds, you have risk factors. So is it there in my presentation, which I always start off with. These are my views, not the right views. Agree to disagree. Because in disagreement, there is growth. When we disagree, I think we grow. And we will like to do that. It's a very large crowd. Usually I want presentations to be in a very interactive format. So if I'm saying something, you have a point of view, stop me there. We'll agree, disagree, debate, whatever, fight. But since group is large, let's try and keep it at the end of the session. And then try and do some justice to it, justice to this part of it. So here I go. I think for advisory fraternity, which is very less in India, though everybody calls themselves advisor, but they are bullshitting. You know, they're not advisors. They're not exactly advisors. So IFA in India is a confused term. Somebody says IFA stands for Independent Financial Advisors. I say that's a hogwash. You know, it doesn't stand. I think it stands Individual Financial Agent. That's my view. Some people kind of disagree. They say it doesn't even stand individual. It stands Indian Financial Agent. Okay, and I'm saying it as it is because, you know, at least 50% of people who are sitting out there are listening to me at least 10 times in the last 2 or 3 years. And I haven't seen them changing. They always nod the heads, yes, yes. Sumit, you're right. This is what the future is. They go back next session again, yes, yes. This is what the future, they don't change. Many of you sitting here have been asking the same question to me for the last 2 years. The question hasn't changed, forget about those persons. So that tells me the IFA definition is not changing. It's a bullshit, you know. I think somewhere when we come to these sessions, it's for our own satisfaction. चलो चलते हैं, सुन के आएंगे, कुछ satisfaction मिल जाएगी. सुन तो लिया. Who the hell wants to change? So my presentation is all about change. I'm saying if you don't change, you'll be dead. You'll be dead. Period. अब अभी तक जो नहीं हुआ है वो अगले 2 से 3 साल में होने वाला है, and it'll happen at such a rapid pace, which will drive you crazy, which you haven't even thought through how this market is changing, how this environment is changing. And you know, at Freedom, that's precisely the reason we are very bullish about this industry. We are very, very bullish about this industry. What's happening? This whole industry is getting shrunk day by day. Number of people who are active in this line are just getting shrunk and shrunk, and number of people who want financial advice are going up every day. So from an opportunity sense, it's a beautiful opportunity. Future is very, very interesting and bullish, but for some of us in this room, it might not be, because we're not ready to change. So when I talk about business planning and setting up of goals, I'm basically talking about goals. Or I'm basically talking about change. So let's start. The current financial services industry manufacturers. These are the people whose brands and logos are written out here. Very, very important for value chain in our industry. Then there are distributors, the large banks, distribution houses, broking firms, IFAs, agents, advisors, etc. And then there are clients. Now, these are the broad elements of distributors. Distributors further, in order to reach clients, have salaried financial advisor, who's also known as RMs. They work on salary plus commission. They can also have independent financial advisors or individual financial agent, whatever you mean by IFA in India, who are 100% commission to reach the client. Now, this is the value chain. Currently, the way value chain works, so currently the way the value chain works in India is manufacturer creates product, give commission to distributor, he goes to clients and sell that product. Okay. A lot of people will agree to disagree on the no, it doesn't happen, but you will take a lot of time to convince me that it doesn't happen in India. 10-year today I think is what, 85? I think it's 885. 10-year yield, 882 to 885, right? At least last 1.5 years there have been 3 calls, income fund mein dalne ka time aa gaya sir. Ab income fund mein paisa dalte hain. You know why? Because brokerages are very exciting. There are some mutual fund friends sitting also out here. I kind of disagree with their strategy also. Whenever there is an opportunity on the yield curve, they'll go back and say, increase the income fund pricing itself, more commission in the debt funds, and suddenly people start selling debt fund. It's all about manufacturers. Investing in insurance is wrong English, but all advertising in India is about investing in insurance. Have you invested in insurance? Sir, utha ke jiyo. Come on, insurance is for protection. You buy insurance. You don't invest in car insurance. Why should you invest in life insurance? Manufacturer sells like that, distributor sells like that, client buys it like investment product. You should not. 99% Indians are inadequately insured. Nobody is concerned with that. We are only concerned with, by making him invest in insurance, he'll give me a higher premium and I'll own commissions, And then we try to keep bullshitting to us. हम अपने आप की एक छोटे से दायरे में बैठ के ये समझते हैं सामने वाला जो हमारा कस्टमर है वो पागल है, उसको ये चीजें समझ नहीं आती है. आज नहीं तो कल वापस आ जाएगा हमारे पास. एक तो इंडिया इज द प्रॉब्लम इज पॉपुलेशन आल्सो. देयर आर 120 crore people. We think every year there will be 1 lakh new fools in the market, and we'll go to that guy. So there is no concept of customer retention, and I'm deliberately trying to challenge you. I think post-lunch session this works. If I challenge you, you will become attentive. Why? What is this guy saying? So I'm challenging you because I continue to see no change happening in this theory. Actually, the way it should happen is slightly different. The way it should happen is this way. We should represent clients to the manufacturer. Does it make sense? We should represent clients to the manufacturer. We should not represent manufacturers to the client. That's the only way this industry can do well. But somehow it doesn't happen. The reason why it doesn't happen is not that we can't charge fee. The reason why it doesn't happen is only one, that we as advisors, as well as intermediaries, somewhere are afraid to do that because we don't know how to do it. Because if you have to represent customers or clients to the manufacturer, then you need to know your clients. In order to know your clients, you need to have data about your clients. In order to have data about your client, you need to follow process. Process scares you shit. Because you can't follow process, you're not very good in using technology. Because you don't use technology, you can't do all these things yourself. Because you can't do it yourself, it's better not to do it. And you keep representing manufacturers to the client. India must be the only country where between January to March, maximum number of insurances are sold. Why? Because people buy it at that time. Because tax saving, We must be the only countries, where most of the products are delivered when manufacturers want us to sell them. Closed-ended equity fund. Suddenly everybody will sell it. Why? Because manufacturers want us to sell it. Where is client in the picture? So one of the first point which I'm trying to make, if we have to be really very excited about this industry and do very well, the big change which is dawning on us in a big time way is we have to start representing clients to the manufacturers, not manufacturers to the client. And representing clients to manufacturer does not mean that you have to charge. It doesn't mean you have to charge a fee. It basically means following a process where you collect data to understand your client first. Okay, let's move again. What are the drivers? What are the future drivers of our industry? So if this is what the value chain is shifting from a manufacturer to clients, to the clients to manufacturer, what are the drivers? What will drive our industry? Now, these are my views. I am now painting a picture of this industry 3 or 4 years down the line, the way it is going to happen. To me, one of the biggest change which will hit you like anything is data. You have to get into habit of collecting the client data before you advise any product. And this has to be done in a systematic manner. If you can't do that, you're dead. Because transactions will be dead. Transactions will get commoditized. If currently you guys are peddling transactions, then future is very, very bleak. Very bleak. Okay, let me ask you an example. If there is no application form which you have to take to client, okay, imagine a scenario, there is no application form in your hand when you go to a client. How will you talk? What will you talk? अभी तो कैसे होता है, knock knock, सर एक नया प्रोडक्ट आया था, उसका एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म है, आई वाज पासिंग बाय, आई थॉट आप इसको जरा फिल कर देंगे. देयर इज नो एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म ओनली. व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर इज म्यूचुअल फंड यूटिलिटी कमिंग. Transactions will go online. There are so many other changes happening. What will you do? Versus that, if you were all about client, you will seek a meeting with Sumit and say, Sumit, can I come over and prepare a small, financial advice for you based on your data? Can I collect some data from you, sir? And while collecting the data, you'll get into conversations. You'll prepare a plan, show it to me, take my views. Product comes later. Product comes much later. And this is where I'm going to show you some examples also in terms of trying to do that part. With data, the conversation with client changes. Currently, I get only a month-end statement of saying this was performance of your product. If I had data about my goals, about my aspirations, your communication to me should be about my goals and aspirations, not about product performance. Most of the SIPs get stopped because there is no goal attached. The reason there are no goals because you don't have data. The reason you don't have data, you don't collect it. You just don't have any idea about doing it. Then you go and crib that the guy doesn't treat me properly, I also have a problem with nomenclature in industry, I don't know why mutual fund professionals call this industry as distribution. What the hell, man? We're not an FMCG industry. We're not distributing shampoo or soaps. Somebody calls, I'm a chief distribution officer. Take a jump, man. You're not an FMCG. What are you distributing? Application forms? My foot. Then you go and crib the guys are giving me short-term money. Your designation should be Chief Advisor Officer, who deals with advisors in an advisory fraternity. We don't respect our fraternity ourselves. The name given to us as distributor, agent, sub-broker, dalal, everybody goddamn in this value chain look down upon us, yaar. Because we don't respect us, because we don't talk like that. And then we go out and say, no, nothing is happening, SEBI is not being fair to us. Crap. If we want respect, let's be treated with respect in our minds first. Agree to disagree, huh? These are my views, not the right views. But it's important, high time we realize it. So first driver is data. Data is very important. But in order to collect data, you need to have technology. Without technology, you are almost nowhere in today's world. So, there used to be IQ, which was intelligence quotient. Then came the concept of EQ, which was emotional quotient. I think today's world, the bigger Q is the TQ, which is technology quotient. If we want to be in this industry and do well, we better understand what technology is. I see so many of us sitting in this room who do not have even a domain name registered in their name. They still use Gmail, xyzadvisor@gmail.com. Gmail, you can white label it. Where there is no Gmail, your name. Let's say my email ID is sumit.vath@ffreedom.in. That ffreedom runs on Gmail. But Gmail is not visible. What is visible is ffreedom. It's as basic as that. We are dealing in the business of trust. Trust will come with these initiatives like branding, etc. And we don't do it. And I've known Prem conducting many sessions like this, but still the change is not happening. People listen, they don't change. Actually, I'm happy when you don't change. Because people who don't change will be dead, and that's good for us. Why? Because the industry will become smaller, there are more number of clients, people who survive will do much better. But technology is becoming important, okay? The basic reasoning on technology, which is not happening, is we are somewhere afraid to use technology. Because we are not understanding, or whatever the reason is, there is some kind of resistance among us. And sometimes it gets justified by saying, no, Sumit, very difficult to change, I'm a 60-year-old guy. How can I change? I've never used technology, don't force it on me. Sir, I'm not forcing, your clients want it. You better do it for your clients. You better do it for your client. And there are so many trends happening on technology. So let me tell you, everybody knows about mutual fund utility? Yeah? My sense is it will be live by April, May. A lot of people are not agreeing on that, but my sense is UAT will start around about 15th of March, April, May it will go live. That means your client can actually buy mutual fund through your code completely online without any paper transaction. My view is 2 years down the line, forms will be finished. There will be no forms through which you will be buying mutual funds. Everything will be completely online. You will send a mail to your client where there will be an attachment, you will open, it will open MF utility, you will say okay, okay, banking transaction will happen online and it will go through. And I want people to come and say, Lafan, aisa nahi hone wala Hindustan mein. There are other industries where this has happened, and I am going to give you some examples of industry where a lot of people who said, aisa nahi hone wala are dead now. They are not in that business itself. Okay? So first change is MF utility, and that's going to happen faster than what you are thinking. And one good thing about mutual fund utility, do realize it will going to be B2C also. So mutual fund utility will be B2B, that will be available to you to do online transaction. But mind you, if you don't do right servicing to your client, it will be also available to your client. So if I was your client, I have a choice of going directly to mutual fund utility and buying it myself. Wow, it's so good, customer empowerment. Anything which is good for customer is good for industry, is good for us. In other words, you can't hide now. Or in earlier business, what you used to do, I hope client doesn't know about it. I hope he doesn't know about this. Now you know hope. Go ahead. If you don't do it, somebody else will. Another interesting thing, you have been seeing the auction of mobile trades which are happening. Yep. It's becoming very interesting because 4G is the next technology on the mobile which will happen. That means the current mobile phones which you are using will become 4G. 4G mobile means you will watch televisions on your phone. You will take screen and watch television on your phone. Imagine 4G with Chinese smartphones which will be available at 4,000 rupees. And Reliance Jio is going to launch in next 3 to 6 months. And internet will become 4G oxygen across the country. Across the country, internet is available like oxygen. What will it do to your business? 4G coupled with mutual fund utility is dead of, that means death of application form. You will reach people through mobile. What will happen to your business? No runner boy, cost saving. No going every day to camps, cost saving. But if you were used to carrying a bag with full of application form and go to your customer and say, sir, naya product aaya, ye dekhiye iska application form hai, God help you. Your conversation with clients will have to change. It has to become about them rather than about products. And if you can't change, somebody else will take your place. And that's what technology does to business. We have heard about Xerox, etc. I was reading in paper, and I hope I'm right with this fact. I think Sony has filed for bankruptcy. I was told Sony as a company has filed for bankruptcy. It's amazing, you know. How can you think, you know, world changes? Then there is cloud technology available. Cloud means I don't have to have servers in my office. That means I can go store everything. Today, if you have Apple iPhone, in Apple iPhone, all your photos get stored in a cloud. So you don't need your own computers, you don't need your servers. So cloud means I can have enough space, best of the things available to me, easy. Some of us sitting, or many of us sitting in this room will not understand what I am talking. I think your problem. You better understand. You can't delegate this. It's as important as understanding large cap and mid cap. It's as important. You can't say, no, I don't want to read technology, but technology is important. Social branding. You know, you have to be social. If I was to become your client, in 2 to 3 years down the line, the first thing I'll go and check up your name on Google. So I'll go and put your name on Google, and if I don't get any references, I should not become your client. But if I get your references, I'll become instantly your client. So is there your social branding which is important? Again, Cafe Mutual in past has done some conferences in which he's talked about it. The reason I'm rubbing it in is a lot of us sitting in this room knows this, but somehow don't do it. The change is not happening at the pace which it should happen. So this is the technology changes which I wanted to talk about. Then the future drivers of our industry. So I've talked about data, I've talked about technology, I'm talking about regulatory activism. Regulatory activism increasingly become more valid. Today's news is that mutual funds will have to increase their net worth from 10 crores to 50 crores. It is a huge impact. It's not a small news, because that means some of the mutual funds will go out of the business because they'll decide they don't want to pump in 50 crores. Regulator is being very, very active. Anything which is good for customer is what regulator is going to think and keep doing it. So whether he is right or wrong, that's irrespective. Our businesses have to get used to changes happening because you don't have any control on these changes. You heard about IMFI being announced last week, which is Institution of Mutual Fund Intermediation, a SRO for mutual funds. Now the day SRO comes up, you will be hit with new set of rules. Take it for granted 100% there will be new set of rules. Those people who have not become registered investment advisor with SEBI will get covered under SRO. And those of us who have been either a sub-broker with stock exchange or main broker with stock exchange know what kind of rules SRO come up with. It's very stringent. It's not less. So the rules are going to keep coming. You can crib about it, no, this is not right, should I do my business or what, but regulatory activism will happen. In a way it's good because it creates a lot of trust and faith in the last mile customer saying there is someone thinking about him. So it's good for us, good for industry. But keeping all those things in mind, your compliance cost will go up. If we are a one-man army moving around in the market ourselves, it will be very difficult to go and manage all these things at one go. Should I go handle my clients? Should I take care of my technology? How do data collection happens? Who will take care of my compliance? Audit is going to happen and all those things will keep coming your way. So at one end there is a big opportunity, but that also means change in model. And the reason why I'm talking about, before talking about goals and business setting, is I'm just trying to set the context how future is. I just also want to spend a minute on the case study. And this is for those people who sitting in this room say, Sumit, you are a very, very negative and a scary person. Every time you come and you try and tell me something wrong about what's going to happen in our industry. And ये सारी theory है, ये चीजें कुछ नहीं वाली है, हिंदुस्तान में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. Crap है. I know a lot of people, many a time after my session I go and have a tea, पीछे खड़े होकर बोलते हैं ये पागल आदमी है यार, ये ऐसी बकवास कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, इंडिया में ऐसी चीजें होती नहीं है. So let me tell you an example to justify that I am not पागल. Okay? Travel industry, everybody understands? Yeah? मैं जब म्यूचुअल फंड में होता था, आज से 4 साल पहले या 5 साल पहले, there was म्यूचुअल फंड के जैकेट, सॉरी म्यूचुअल फंड के नहीं, एयरलाइन के जैकेट होते थे. जेट एयरवेज में जब आप ट्रैवल करते थे, फिजिकल टिकट होती थी, इतनी लंबी सी जिसपे जेट एयरवेज लिखा होता था, राइट? एंड जिसके पास वो टिकट होती थी वो किंग होता था ट्रैवल एजेंट में, बिकॉज उसे स्टॉक बोला जाता था. दैट मीन्स यू हैव दो स्टॉक्स लाइंग विद यू ऑन विच यू कैन इशू टिकट्स. This is 5 years ago. Those people who have stock are the king because that's exactly what you used to pay upfront to airline to go and buy it. Today there is no paper. There's just no paper. Imagine those people who were doing that business of travel agency in which वो physical चीजें करा करते थे, उनकी तो वाट लग गई. Railway booking used to happen on lines. There is IRCTC. I think railway didn't understood before launching IRCTC that it will become like this. It's the largest e-commerce website in the country today. My driver doesn't go and book tickets when he goes to UP once in a year and while coming back by going to the ticket counters. What happened to those agents which were responsible for helping you buy tickets? They used to come to your home with a reservation form, fill it up and say, sir, मैं ticket ला दूंगा, 25 रुपए per ticket दूंगा. What लग गई उनकी? You see them? They're dead. My equivalent of that physical ticket and paper is our application form. जो भाई लोग हमारे एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म लेके दरवाजा खटका के जाते हैं, सर नया प्रोडक्ट आया है, सोच लो 2 साल बाद क्या होने वाला है. ना एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म रहेगा, अगर आप चेंज नहीं हुए तो आपकी जगह कोई और आ जाएगा. दिस हैज हैपेंड इन इंडस्ट्रीज गाइस. देयर इज makeMyTrip.com whose stock has done every time all time well in the last quarter of last year. They've done the best revenue. It's listed on NASDAQ. The shift, power shift because of technology in products is immense. It has happened in travel industry. It will happen in our industry. And just like in our industry, in travel industry, nobody is understanding the importance of data. I wish there was a travel advisor who will come to my home, collect data from me, ask me, Sumit, what are your preferences of holidays? What do you like, what you don't like? And customize holidays for me. I will pay him. I have a yearly budget of 4 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees which I travel on vacations. I don't mind paying him 20,000 bucks a year. Please customize holidays for me. Damn it, nobody comes like that. जो भी आता है टिकट बेच नहीं आता है मुझे. I don't know, it's so obvious. We just don't change. Because the reason for not changing is that we have this fear. And we justify this fear by saying, कुछ नहीं होगा यार, इंडिया में थोड़ी होती है ऐसी चीजें. और जब एक्चुअली हो जाती है, तब हमें रियलाइज होता है कि where this industry is trying to go. So now, I've set the context, right? I've set the context about what is happening in our industry and what is expected to happen. And these are my views, not the right views. I hope I'm wrong. Though I'm convinced I'm not. But for your betterment, I'm hoping that I'm wrong. If this is the environment, as an advisor, and I'm taking a liberty of calling us as advisors, because distribution is a dying business. If I'm an advisor, these should ideally be goals of my business. These should be the goals of my business. The first one is to set up practice on the philosophy of client centricity. This word practice we'll try and understand and explain. But I'm trying to set up a practice. It's a business. It's not a one-man army, Chuck Norris, where every day I'll get up and go out in the market and the money will come. Otherwise, if the day I don't go out in the market, no money will come. The second is to increase my revenues. How do I increase my revenues? You have to think, your goal as a businessman has to increase your revenues, because that's the goal of any business. And the third goal, to sustain and have a potential to sell his practice over a period of time. I don't know whether any of us sitting in this room have even thought about selling the business which you are trying to do. If you go to, developed markets like US, Australia, UK, Europe, IFAs sell their practices at a beautiful value. I know someone who has created practice 3 times. Sell, go enjoy, have a world tour, come back, set up another 200 client practice, again sell, go enjoy world tour, come back again, do that. This person is in Australia. If they can do it there, why the hell we can't do it here? And that's big money business. So that should be a goal. If I was you, I will set goals like this. So let's get into this each slightly more in detail. What is practice? This is a word which gets often used. So we picked it up from the dictionary. To work at a profession is practice. If you're a professional, you can't call yourself as a distributor, agent, sub-broker, dalal, any of these things. You have to become a practice. And practice is a professional setup. So you have to professionalize yourself. It can't be individual, it has to professionalize yourself. That means no agent, no distributor, no seller, but a practice owner. The words have to be practice owner. To set up their practice, the philosophy of client centricity. Select the practice structure. When you are doing your business planning, the first thing which times have come right now is to select your practice structure. Amit has spoken in the earlier session, and then Amit has been one of the strongest proponent of that. People in India, especially intermediaries, are not understanding as a sole proprietor what kind of a risk they are running. So everybody is aware about mis-selling guidelines of mutual fund? Yes? That means it's a criminal offense. That means tomorrow if a client goes and complains to SEBI, it's a criminal offense. SEBI can take a really harsh, stringent action. So imagine I am an agent or an IFA with sole proprietorship. I go and sell 10 lakh rupees worth of income fund to someone by selling, sir, ये तो बैंक डिपॉजिट जैसा है, आपको वैसा रिटर्न मिलेगा. मैं बेच के आ जाता हूँ, इनकम फंड की कॉल उल्टी पड़ जाती है, 885 की जगह वो 9+ हो जाता है, नेगेटिव रिटर्न आ जाते हैं. That customer goes to SEBI and says, this guy is missold to me by telling me this product is like bank deposit. SEBI does investigation, they call me, Sumit, come and explain you haven't missold. I don't have any data. I don't have any communication. The only thing I have is photocopy of form, because that's the only thing I'm good at. SEBI says, bullshit, you have missold. Now out of this 10 lakh, इसके 2 लाख का नुकसान हुआ है, उसका भरपाई करो. As a sole proprietor, you have unlimited liability. Unlimited liability. Theoretically, इसका मतलब है कि आपका दिवालिया निकल सकता है. आपका घर भी बिचवा देगा वो. That's what sole proprietor means. So it's very important for us to get the structure of the practice. Whether I need to be a sole proprietor, whether I need to be a LLP, or whether I need to be a private limited company. And for God's sake, now we have reached the time you can't put it under the carpet. अभी तक हम नहीं यार कौन पकड़ेगा छोड़ो ना. ऐसा नहीं है सर. We are in a different era now. So that's the point number 1. Get the credentials. The second one is get the credentials. If you are into this business seriously, invest some money in getting the credentials. Are you a CFP, chartered, or are you a chartered wealth manager, CWM, NISM, whatever it is? It's important. You have to convince your client that you are good in your job. And qualifications or credentials are one thing which is very important. When you go to a doctor, you go to those doctors जिनके नाम के नीचे 3-4 चीजें लिखी होती हैं. वो क्या समझ में आएगा उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है, बट लिखी होती हैं. and that's important. I'm not trying to demean the certification. They're very important, but damn it, have something. You can't, I've seen visiting cards of agents, distributors, advisors, XYZ, LIC, UTI, NIAC, ऐसे करके सारे product line में लिखे होते हैं. What are you vending? That was history, huh? Future नहीं होने वाला ऐसा. Comply with all the regulations. You have to comply with regulations. I don't know, we have understood that mis-selling ka the only way out is documented advice. That means tomorrow if a regulator comes back to you and say, tell me what was the basis of you advising this product to this gentleman, you should have a document. And this doesn't mean you need to be an RIA or you need to charge fee. Even as a normal intermediary, you need to have documentary advice. This was the basis of me choosing this product for this particular person. So documented advice is must. Suitability is must. Risk profiling is must. They are now regulations. It's not that they'll happen in future. They are required right now. Prepare a business plan. I'm not going to help you prepare an Excel business plan. I think you all are pretty good in terms of doing that. But have a business plan, have targets. In this year, I'll add so many clients, I'll add so many AUM, my revenue will go from here to here, my cost will be this. If you have a qualified, written, well written down business plan, it will really help you. Find a mentor. I told you about Amit Trivedi. When I started Freedom 2009, Amit was just leaving the job from Templeton. And I said, Amit, I need a coach, somebody like you who will make sure we stay true to our purpose. And today, to a large extent, Amit has contributed to whatever Freedom has done, good, bad, ugly, whatever, credit, discredit goes to him. And we're really thankful for him. You have to invest time and money on getting coach. It's relevant. It really helps you where you are, where you want to go. And you have to invest back in your business. You can't remain out of investments. Build/outsource a back office team. One-man armies are not going to help you. India is a very big potential. Basic teams which you require is 1 or 2 member teams, You can't manage all the businesses yourself. The problem in India is we do individual business. As individual, I can only do justice to 50, 60 clients. If I try and handle more, my clients are not happy. If I don't handle more, my revenues are not very good. So it's a catch-22 situation. We always remain in that. So if you want to increase the revenue potential, you have to either build your own back office team or outsource. Outsource your back office teams to a KPO or whatever. Develop a marketing plan. Do you have a defined marketing plan? How many investor meets are you going to do? These days, asset management companies are very liberal in terms of supporting you with various investor meets. They are desperate, in fact. Somebody do a genuine meeting. Take us to a group of 20 people. We will love to sponsor, provided you're doing a relevant stuff. So budget is not a problem. Your ability to go and source those clients to come into a room are huge opportunity. To acquire relevant knowledge and skill sets. I think many of you have come here, so it shows that you are very keen, but you have to do it on a regular basis. The next goal, to increase the revenues. Now, as per our study, if in any practice you don't have minimum 200 clients, it doesn't make sense. That's the kind of ideal client range. And I'm talking about a practice which is not a high net worth practice, which is attacking the mid-market or mass affluent market, in which your 80% of clients are mass affluent and 10-20% are HNI. 200 number of active client is a good practice to really go at. So look at 200 active clients, okay? When I say 200 active, my definition of active is revenue-wise. I'm saying any active client should contribute 10,000 a year of revenue to you. Any active client should contribute 10,000 rupees revenue to you. And the term I have used out there is ARPP. It stands for average revenue per plan. If you are, collecting data and giving advice, that means that document will be known as a plan, and that plan should be able to generate you 10,000 rupees across the products. And I'm not talking in terms of fees. I'm saying, let's say 0 fees. When you advise mutual fund, life insurance, general insurance, pension product, writing of will, tax planning, loans, any such products, you should target a 10,000 rupees a year kind of a revenue. Which on a time base, let's say after 3 years, you have 200 clients, 200 into 10,000. How much is that? How much is that? 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs annual revenue. Now that's something which is decent. You're getting into a space which is exciting now.
extensive client engagement strategy. How will I touch client? How many times we'll call him? Who will call him? What mails will go? You have to have a client engagement strategy. And that's why I was insisting on back office team. You can't do it yourself. You know, at the cost of naming someone, and I'm a big fan of him, and he's sitting out here, Sadashiv Fene. Where are you, Sadashiv? Yeah, he's the institution in himself. You know, I've been a big fan of him for last 10, 12 years, and to a large extent, he motivated me to get into this business. So the good thing which he does is he's diligent in his work. Okay, he goes up every day after select client and keep teaching them about equity, and he runs one of the largest equity AUM in the individual category. But that's his good part. At every meeting I go, and I also tell him, Sadashiv, if you would have got good back office team with you, today you'd be 2,000 crores of AUM. The opportunity which he has missed is because he never wanted to create a team. Am I right, Sadashiv? Yeah. So there is the time, either you have to create a team or outsource one. Because there are some brilliant people sitting out here, they're doing fantabulous amount of business. They do much better than many of the large players. Just because they haven't thought it properly or didn't have the business plans, they didn't achieve the true potential, which can still happen. Improving productivity, which I've talked about. Sustainability of practice. Now this is my favorite topic, which is sustainability of practice. Sustainability of practice means when the markets are good, when the markets are bad, I should be able to sustain my business. I should be able to continue and grow my business in terms of trying to do that part. How many of us write wills for our clients? There are 4 of us. You know, on average, clients are ready to pay 10,000 rupees for writing a will. That's our experience. And out of 10,000 rupees, if you pay 5,000 rupees to a lawyer to write a will, there is a 5,000 rupees worth revenue. And every client in India needs you to write a will because nobody in India has will. Now, will writing is not related to market conditions. In fact, in bad markets, people will like to write more wills. And when you write wills, you get an ability to collect more data. Because he'll talk about all his assets. He'll talk about his family members. And if you record that data, you'll be able to cross-sell, upsell. So one of the great entry strategies into new households could be knock, knock. Sir, I'm a financial advisor. I'll start off by helping you write a will. Then we'll talk about your products. And when he gives you to write a will, you get all his assets, get all his data, understand who his financial advisor is, and kill the other guy. It's the strategy. So you have to think like that. You have to think different. You have to think innovative. Loans is another big way to get into people's house. Most of the people who are sitting on housing loan, they are sitting on higher housing loan. If somebody was a good advisor, he can go and say, sir, I can help you reduce the cost of your loan by shifting to a loan from a higher cost to a lower cost loan. And that's easy these days. Huh? Banks are very keen to get it. Even if you don't make revenues, ideally people are ready to pay you, but even if you don't, great data point. So sustainability of practice means collection of data, advising products which you're not doing it, doing tie-ups, thinking slightly bigger than what you do right now. You don't just think about mutual funds or life insurance. Should use technology in day-to-day business to reduce cost and increase productivity. Everybody carries smartphones, but we only use it for sending SMS or BlackBerry. And that rest of the 90% smartphone features are a waste. I don't know why we carry. I think in India people buy smartphones not for themselves but to show off to others. It's a status symbol to outside. I have an iPhone. Damn it, you don't use it for calling and SMS other than that. Complete waste. I think I'm deliberately trying to challenge you. Again, sorry for that, but there is a reason for that. Readiness to adapt to the changing environment. Are you ready to change? Somewhere change is not easy, huh? Especially if you have done this business over a period of time. There's just no reason for change. And I think I like people who don't change. The reason is they die and they give opportunity to others. It's evident, every big business, small business which is not changing is dying. So it's okay. It's good opportunity for others to come in. Goodwill in the market to acquire clients on an ongoing basis. Social media presence is very important. Actually, do a study. Go back from this session. In Google, go and print your name, your company's name. If the first reference point comes is Just Dial, then you are not good on social media. Because Just Dial will put everybody's name there. You know, if you've done something, it should come across as somewhere your comment, somewhere you are doing conference, koi article kahin likha, kahin newspaper ka kuch hai. Think about that. As a client, I have access to Google everywhere. The first thing which I'll do is this. The last but not least, which I like to spend 5 minutes, is ability to sell, transition your practice to clients. Mutual funds are being sold. Today's headline was ING is being sold to someone, you know, and 5 mutual funds are bidding in. In mutual fund, assets are given by all of us, right? If mutual funds can sell, why the hell we can't sell? It's a very simple point. We have not thought about it. The reason is you will sell something which is tangible. Practices have to be created which are tangible practices. Tangible practices means you know about clients. So when as Freedom, if I am buying your practice, you will tell me, Sumit, here is my list of clients. I have all the data about them. I know what is their age. I know what is their income. I know what is their expenses. I know what is their assets. I know what they can do in future. Based on that, you can put value to that practice. So let's say, I'll give you examples of valuation which is going on currently in Australia, in US. It is basically on the revenues. So there are 2-3 models to value the practice at advisory. So one is a revenue-based model. That means you create revenue and you say, I had a revenue of 20 lakh for last 3 years. And based on what kind of clientele you have, let's say you have a client range which is between 35 to 40, and you have got all the data. And all of those 200 clients of yours are doing retirement goals, and you know what they will save over the next 20 years. Somebody will give you 4 times revenue because your profile of clients is young. 4 times revenue means 20 lakhs into 4, 80 lakh ki value. So they'll say, okay, I put 80 lakh value to your practice. Out of this 80 lakh, I'm giving you 20 lakh as signing amount. Help me transition your clients from your to this guy. It can be a 1-year process. I'll give you another 20 lakhs. After 1 year, if the client doesn't leave, I'll pay you rest. So over 2.5 years, you'll get all 80 lakhs. Now those are the businesses, how it has to be run. That's the potential. And trust me, my gut tells me, out of experience, the guys who will buy practices will not be individuals, will be institutions. Internationally, many banks have bought practices. Internationally, there are large intermediations which have come up whose model is practice buyout. So a foreigner will come, set up in India and say, okay, I want to grow my B2C model. I'll go and acquire clientele. I'll go and acquire this advisor in this market. I'll go and acquire that advisor in that market and try and do the needful. Now, a lot of people again will say, yaar, ye fir theory maar raha hai. Ye nahi hone wala India mein. I think one experience in Pune has already happened. There is one case study in Pune where somebody has sold his practice to another large person, and it's been successfully done. It will catch momentum. The choice is, do we want to do it? Do we want to create a business which is built to sell? The reason is, when you start creating businesses which are built to sell, your ability to create it is very different. You will think about it in a very different way. You will not think like an agent or an IFA or a small individual who's trying to do that part. So that was what my presentation was. This is what my thank you slide. So I was making a thank you slide, and this is a typical, sense I have about this industry. I left my job 5 years ago, and trust me, it's been a big challenge. It's not been easy to be in this business because somehow I am very surprised why there is no capital coming into this industry. This is where the real money should come in B2C level. It still doesn't. But I'm very bullish about it. The reason for my bullishness comes for, this quotation which I like. This is just the beginning, best is yet to come. And if you really see the theory behind this is, there is 120 crore population, my view. It might be 140, but I assume 120. Assume there are 6 crore or 6 people in every family. That means there are 20 crore families. Okay, so that means there are 20 crore families in India. Out of these 20 crore family, let's say there's a 30% of them who are worth investing in any way or other. Okay, that becomes how much? 6 crores, right? Now, if there are 6 crore worth families whom we can go and target, each practice should have 200 minimum, I said. A good investment practice will handle 200 clients. So that means if you're handling 200 clients in one practice, there are 6 lakh practices which can be potentially set up in India. Are you one of them? Is the question you need to answer. Thank you very much. And just the way when I started, I gave you my risk factors. I'll give you my apologies after it. Don't go by my tone. It was deliberate. Because I've come to this conclusion that many of us are on the fringe, on the fence for changing ourselves. But somehow we are not changing. We are just not changing. So I thought by kind of pushing you over the fence, one thing you should do is have a coach. There are few of them who are sitting in this room. So I'm trying to sell them. But have a coach. You can't do it all the way alone. I had Amit Trivedi. I still go to him. Last week was a session where I cried on him. Say, Amit, we have such a beautiful business model. Why the hell somebody is not investing in us? He says, it'll happen. And it'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen. Coaching helps. Any questions?
Yeah.
Hanji sir. Yep.
You said that you said about selling practices,
Yes.
what you do.
Yes.
Suppose I have a 200 clients, and if I am into this business, and if I sell my business to somebody else at a profit, right? Then what do I do after that?
Play golf. I will do that.
Retire.
I'm dying to play golf for some time. So if I was, each to his own, you know, you ask me, I'll buy a Harley Davidson, go on a world tour, spend 2-3 years in hibernation, try and understand what life is, come back, set new practice. Again,
Okay,
sell it off.
again you do the same thing and make new
If I
clients.
was you,
Yeah.
some people, okay, let's on a serious basis, let's answer this question. So let's say you're a second generation guy who's been doing it for ages. Now you're 50-year-old or 55-year-old. Your son doesn't want to come in this business. Your daughter is already married. You have 300 clients. What do? You know, the other way is, this is the best way to keep myself busy, but you can sell your practice. Just go sell it off. It has to be in a position to sell it off. Right now, I don't think so even 1% or 0.01% people have practices which are ready to sell. If you go and ask somebody, tell me who are your clients, tell me all the data, they don't know. The only data you know is the CAMS mutual fund data which comes back to you. And that is also not deduped. So if there is Sumit Ved, SV, S Ved, that means you take it as 3 clients. You know, I have this typical thumb rule. When I go and ask how many clients you have, he says 1,000. I divide it by 3. That means 300. Basic thing is missing. So data, data, and data. It's a big data idea. You know, I don't know things which excite me. Let's say somebody is coming and sitting with you and planning their education. Okay? 10 years down the line, he's telling what he has to do with education. Boss, we are the first in the value chain to know what somebody wants to do 10 years down the line. It's a beautiful business. If we can create structure in this business, data in this business, monetization will be crazy. Facebook goes and charges advertising just by telling him what he does on social media. That itself is a charge. We can tell various things. People are desperate about business. I always think, why can't we go and tell an education institution after talking to my client, sir, can I introduce you to a college which might be good for your student, which is your son? Why will he not like it, yaar? But we should have a data about it. So data is very important, you know. Yes, sir.
Hi, Sumit. This is Deepak Hemani. I just want to go back to the very beginning of your presentation where you said that, you know, we need to have the client coming to the distributor and then taking him to the manufacturer.
Yep.
Right? You wanted it to go reverse. Is there any other industry wherein there is a parallel to this? Why I'm asking this is this. You have a car industry which produces a car. The distributor sells that car. The person sees, okay, I like following features in the car. I'll buy this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll go to Maruti, I'll go to Ford, I'll go to General Motors, whatever.
Yeah.
Has there ever been somewhere where he has gone to the distributor and he has told his car manufacturer, design his car for me, except for Deepak Chhabria. He's modifying it. That is slightly different. He's, you know, remodeling a car which is produced by someone.
Yeah.
Similarly in the FMCG, okay? A fridge is produced, a TV is produced, a person goes and sees this has this features, I'm happy with this feature. Okay. Has there ever been a TV produced by the client when he says, no, I want this feature in a client? I think you get what I'm saying.
Yes. So interesting, huh? It's a very interesting point which you are trying to do. So it's mass manufacturing versus design-oriented manufacturing. Do you know about 3D printing? Yeah? This is beginning of that. 3D printing, people have come up with printers where you can assemble guns at your home. So on a computer, go click, there is a 3D printer, वो molded चीज निकल के आती है, आपको सिर्फ screw tight करने हैं, gun आपके घर पे बन गई. Let's go crazy for a time, you know, and close our eyes and go 5 years down the line. Exactly that's how things will happen. So there will be no, there could be, I might be wrong, I'm just doing future gazing, but there might be, the future is to customize. You know, I know about a lot of these guys who have come up with solutions in international market where they're saying with help of internet, we can mass customize. The word which is being used as mass customize. Okay, that's one answer. But that's not a relevant answer for our industry. Here we are dealing with people. Every case study is different. See, the current problem of this industry is we are painting all customers together. So there will be an FMP wave. So you will go to all your clients, sir, FMP आया, sir, FMP आया, sir, FMP आया है. वो भी खरीद के बैठ जाता बिना समझे. Because right now what we are peddling is forms. That's why I asked you a question. 1 year down the line, there are no forms. There is mutual fund utility. There is 4G of internet. Everything is on internet. आपके हाथ में फॉर्म ही नहीं, आप बात कैसे करोगे? सोचो जरा इस बात को. हेलो हेलो, फॉर्म ही नहीं है सर, क्या बोलूँ मैं? So my point is, we are in a very different kind of an industry. You have to represent client, because after understanding, only you will be able to suggest what you should have. The basis of understanding is not there. We are not even developing a soch behind understanding. I've seen people taking notes while sitting with clients in a diary. I don't know how will you remember it 3 months down the line.
You will give all data, all your investor data to platform, those who have created platform, and then they don't need to pay any single naya paisa for buying your customers. So can you throw some light on this?
Sure.
That is the fear of IFS, and that's why they are opposing to this technology.
Sure. So I'll answer that question, and I'll answer it in my style. I call this fear as Shivaji fear. Okay? IFA जो community है ना, वो अपने आप को शिवाजी समझती है कि साला मैं ही हूँ, दुनिया में तो और कोई है ही नहीं. सर आप ये समझो, आप सिर्फ अभी फॉर्म ले जाके उसको एडवाइस कर रहे हो. उसका एक बैंक है, एक नहीं यूजुअली 3 बैंक होंगे उसके, ठीक है. उसका एक डीमैट अकाउंट होगा, वो कहीं और से किसी और के थ्रू भी प्रोडक्ट खरीदता होगा. उसका जो फाइनेंशियल डेटा आज 10 जगह पे ऑलरेडी पड़ा है. दैट डेटा इन इटसेल्फ डजंट मीन एनीथिंग. Just because, let's say, you give your data to me, I know about your client. Just because I know the data, I can't go to him, sir, मेरे को आपके बारे में पता है, please use me. Nobody is going to talk like that, यार. नहीं, it doesn't happen. It's a fear. You know, fear का full form is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. It's a false evidence. Somehow, as I said, we are fearful to change. One of the change which stops us to change is shit. My data will be everywhere. I'm saying it's anyway everywhere. It's already there. आपके बिना दिए वो डेटा सबके पास पड़ा है. आपका क्लाइंट आपके पास इसलिए आएगा बिकॉज आपको उसकी एक सर्विस करने की एबिलिटी है. यू नो हिम बेटर देन व्हाट आई नो हिम. इन ऑर्डर टू यू नो हिम बेटर, यू नीड डेटा. हाउ डू यू एनालिज? आप मेरे को प्रोडक्ट से पहले मेरे से पूछो तो सही, साले सुमित तू रिटायर कब होगा यार? भैंस की आंख पहले आके पीपीएफ बेच जाते हो मुझे. आपने मेरे को 8 साल का क्लोज एंडेड फंड दे दिया, किस लिए दिया? क्यों लूं मैं आपसे? आप बोलो आपके बेटे की एजुकेशन है 8 साल बाद खत्म हो रही है, उसके अंदर ही अटैच हो जाएगा, इसका रिटर्न आएगा नॉमिनल जीडीपी के जितना, यूजुअली 15% रिटर्न है, इसमें आपका गोल अच्छा है. समझ में आती है मुझे बात? आप वो सब बात नहीं करते हो, मेरे पास आके बोलते हो अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है खरीद ले. तो मैं खरीद लूंगा बिकॉज आप कह रहे हो. कल मार्केट नीचे जाएगी तो मैं आपके पास वापस आऊंगा, क्या ले दिया यार शर्मा जी आपने ये. नाउ if you had my goals, you will come and talk to me, Sumit, this is meant for your child's education, don't worry, markets go through cycles, they'll come up, hold through, this is the only way you can send it to Singapore, otherwise send him to Manipal or a capitation college in Maharashtra, choice तेरी है. बात कोई करता ही नहीं मेरे से ऐसे. That's why, you know, the whole theory has to change. My worry, which I'm trying to tell you, my biggest worry is we are not understanding the paradigm of technology. Mutual fund utility, 4G and internet means transactions will go online. That means no paper. अगर मेरे हाथ में फॉर्म नहीं है मैं बात क्या करूंगा? बिकॉज अभी तो मेरे को फॉर्म पे ही बात करने की आदत है. 2 चीजें होती है मेरे पास, फॉर्म और फैक्ट शीट. अगर वो दोनों है ही नहीं फिर हाउ विल आई टॉक? व्हाट विल आई टॉक? आई एम नॉट सेइंग सपोर्ट एनीबडी, सपोर्ट योरसेल्फ. डैम इट, इट्स योर सर्वाइवल. आई एम ओनली सेइंग इफ यू डोंट गेट बैक ऑफिस, आइदर गेट योर ओन बैक ऑफिस, पैसे खर्चो, सेट करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, या तो किसी के साथ चले जाओ. एंड आइडिया इज नॉट डिपेंडेंस, आइडिया इज इंडिपेंडेंस, आइडिया इज इंटरडिपेंडेंस. लेट्स बोथ ऑफ अस बी डिपेंडेंट ऑन ईच अदर. एंड forget about anybody else. Mutual fund is coming with mutual fund utility, will be the biggest platform, yaar. That'll be the biggest. It's the first time in the world it's coming. It's an exciting thing. So I'll give you another scenario. Prem, just a second. This is the last context which I want to set into them. Okay, there is mutual fund utility platform. Okay, Morningstar, let me take, gives you top 5-star rated fund. Why can't somebody go to 5-star of Morningstar, click the button, it will open mutual fund utility and buy funds from there, and Morningstar charge me 500 rupees subscription per annum. खत्म हो गया गेम. तो आप और मैं क्या करेंगे? एडवाइस करेंगे, क्लाइंट के साथ बैठेंगे, उसकी जिंदगी की बात करेंगे, डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे, सॉल्यूशंस देंगे. एज अ क्लाइंट आई नीड अ पर्सन टू कम एंड टेल मी, बट इफ यू डोंट डू इट यू विल फोर्स मी टू गो टेक्नोलॉजी. सो देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी गाइस, provided we change. That's the only point I'm making.
Hey Sumit, a great presentation. I'd asked Sumit to make a presentation on how can IFAs do business planning. And I think he went way beyond my brief. And he's put everything in the right context. He's given us a much better perspective of what kind of a business environment we are operating in. Thank you, Sumit, so much.
Excuse me.
Can I?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a point.
No. We're running very late.
Okay.
Some of our speakers have to leave. They have other appointments. Some of our delegates have trains and buses to catch, so I'm sorry. And now may I invite Vikram Masand to give a token of... Arey, Sumit, tera kaam khatam nahi hua. Aja. May I invite Vikram Masand to come and give a token of appreciation to Sumit Webb?
He was liking my presentation, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.